Welcome to the show. It is Christmas Eve, and Tyler and I are here tonight, and we're going to check out an episode of Real Ghostbusters, kind of get ourselves in the Christmas spirit, because I can't speak for both of us here, but for me, I think this is the least amount of Christmas spirit I've ever had in my entire life. It doesn't feel like Christmas at all, and I don't think it's really going to until tomorrow night and actually Christmas Day, like opening up presents. But the lead up to it is just not been. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the work schedule. I don't know if it's just worldly events kind of weighing a little heavier than they normally do. But Tyler, do you feel the spirit? Do you feel the power at all, or you pretty much?
It's I believe me. I've had years where it was pretty much null and void, where there's not even no excitement to even watch the classic Christmas cartoons, because it's like, oh, remember when Christmas used to be exciting, and I was pumped all the time, even as an adult, a young adult. But staying so busy, that's why I don't even put up a tree anymore. Like, I don't get home till late, and I'm like, I'm never home enough to enjoy it a lot. I
Yeah,
keep Christmas lights on year round, but I don't always put them on. They're on right now, but they're just fun because
the
they're pretty to look
ambiance.
at. Yeah, it's not really for Christmas, but not really. I'm also like, I've watched a few things here and there, and like that was really good, and I enjoyed it. But I was telling Nathan before we started, like tomorrow night, that's probably when I'm gonna just sit down and try and binge watch a few things back to back that I haven't either had time to watch, or I just want to sit and kind of, because stories that take place on Christmas Eve are always the most exciting to watch anyway. And Christmas Carol and Scrooge, or all the events take place on Christmas Eve, and that's kind of is what's exciting about what we're talking about tonight. But it's been pretty minimal, because you just all my shopping's been online. So you're not out and about listening to horse shit Christmas music by Taylor Swift and shit, and have to deal with people who just can't get the fuck out of the way because they want to have a reunion right there in the middle of the aisle or in front of checkout. So it's been pretty much very minimal, but you know, still, uh, that was a very long-winded answer to
No,
say
I no,
it's kind
I
of it's been kind of a on and off kind of thing.
I think
So
as I've said before, I think it's almost completely non-existent. I don't think it's really gonna start to hit until tomorrow night, because being off of work for the next, I think it's like 10 days, it will be nice. And I look forward to that aspect of it more so than just the holidays that are taking place. But much like you, a lot of my shopping was online, but I did go to stores and look around and try to like formulate ideas to get stuff for my parents, and maybe a few little odds and ends things. But it's when you go to the stores, it's like it's not what it used to be, because media sections have been condensed. And I'm not saying like, oh, I go and buy movies for everybody, but things have changed so much in stores that you're kind of just forced to go online and purchase
and that's why I'm like, I would be more than happy to shop in stores, but you know what? When everything online has more options,
and
y-
cheaper some
and
most
and
of the
and
time.
cheaper, and if you're looking for something particular, and that's the thing too. The things I got, like for my nephews, like I don't think I would have been able to find this shit in stores. So
Mm.
I'm just go on Amazon, go on eBay. It was fun. It was always fun to go hunting around these stores looking for particular items for people, shopping, thinking, getting ideas. But I'm like, you know what?
Who
I don't
has
like.
time anymore?
Well, who has time? Plus, I'm like, you know what? I don't want to get the generic shit that our local retail outlets have, because that's all they fucking have.
Right.
I don't like to buy clothes in stores that are near us. I'd rather just buy online, because I don't want to wear what everyone else is fucking wearing.
True.
And I just don't want to be the generic about anything. But I miss that. But also, like, I wouldn't have time.
Mm. Yeah,
You
yeah, that's
know.
true, because you're getting up early and you're getting home late, like you were saying earlier. So yeah, there's not much.
Yeah, I leave it when I go to work. It's dark. When I get home, it's dark. It's not a
Yeah,
whole
that's
lot of.
kind of that's been sort of the shitty thing. Is when I get up and go to work, it's dark, and then by the time I get off of work now, I have maybe an hour. maybe an hour
Yeah.
of daylight left, and then it's dark. I'm like, man, this sucks. So it's pretty much like you. It's work, come home, try to enjoy something, whether I'm watching a couple episodes of a TV show or watching a movie, and then going to bed, and the nightmare begins again. So it's going to be good to have some time off. I know you are working a couple more days, but you'll have a couple days off, and then next week you're going to the beach, so you
Yeah.
get to enjoy a little vacation time yourself.
Yep. Looking forward to all that. And I'm just glad to know that you've got a lot of time off that you've needed and
Yeah,
deserved. And that's why I like it, it means everything to me as I get older. Doing less is more to me.
yeah.
Like just having time to read or watch something for a little while, and like I was just in the mood, like like in sharing with you, like I've started reading that Batman Resurrection book.
I need to read that myself. How far are you into that?
I'm in chapter 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
And don't have to spoil anything, but just kind of a yes or no. You
Oh yeah,
digging?
absolutely. Like
Okay, cool.
it definitely like it doesn't feel like, hey, you
You
remember
remember
this?
that?
You remember that? Like it plays up the universe that's already been established in the first film and then what we're leading to in the next film. So it paints a nice story that takes place between the first and returns. And what I hear is like he's got ideas for more stories. I'm like, man, if we get a proper Billy D. Williams as Two Face and maybe I don't know something else, maybe even a proper or a better interpretation of the Riddler.
Hmm.
I like Jim Carrey's Riddler, but I'm like thinking like, what if Robin Williams did get cast to play the Riddler like they were thinking initially? Like, God, that'd
Yeah.
been fucking brilliant.
Well,
You
let
know,
me let me toss out this idea to you then. Maybe I read the book and finish it. You finish reading it, and maybe we can do an episode and review it at some
absolutely,
point. Okay.
absolutely, dude. And I watched the Penguin,
Yeah,
all of
you
it,
you
and
text me about that, and you
yeah,
said you said you oh yeah continue with that. We got another one that we got to talk about. We got to talk about the penguin.
oh yeah, I thought it was fucking brilliant. I enjoyed the hell out of it. So much
Okay.
so, I'm like, you know what? I went back and watched the Batman again because I'm
Oh
like, I
no.
enjoyed it that much.
And how did that did it change anything for you or
Yes and no.
okay?
I there's a fuck ton of problems with that movie though. Like there's not to that point where I'm like, okay, I can forgive this and I can forgive that. No, there's a what I disliked about it the first time was like it's still there, but there's a few things I'm like, okay, I that's not as bad as I remembered it being. Catwoman still sucks in it because she doesn't do fuck all in it.
Right.
The storyline of Bruce's parents, like, this is fucking stupid. It goes nowhere. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't service the story at all. I did enjoy more of the Batman stuff, more of the Riddler stuff. Joker shit, completely unnecessary. Fucking stupid to even include that in there. Um, but it just also established like, oh my god, like how underutilized the Penguin was in the movie. Like after you watch the Penguin series, you're like, oh my god, like that was a lot of fun. It's not the traditional Penguin,
Mhm.
but I think we all walked away saying like, well, Colin Farrell's probably the highest, the shining star of the movie. You watch that and then go back and watch the Batman. Like, fuck, they didn't use him at all.
Yeah.
Like he is so underused in the movie, and it's fucking 3 hours long.
I'm
It took
surprised you went back and rewatched it,
it was
really,
out of
but
curiosity. I'm like, okay, I would enjoy that a lot, which made me feel like setting the stage for what they planted it because I was checked out. Like I had no idea that they were going to go forward with another one because I thought like,
hmm,
hey, James Gunn's here. He's going to revolutionize the business and make everything quirky and witty and all this other shit with DC heroes. And like that probably means another Batman movie by Matt Reeves is probably shit canned or they don't know what they're going to do. But apparently they're still doing it,
yeah, they're still doing it.
and hopefully that means a Penguin season 2. Um,
I
but it,
mean, was Colin Farrell? He seemed like not too keen on the makeup. I saw a video where he's like, "Oh, I'm finally fucking done with this for now."
Probably so. I know he said he'd be up. He would like to do another one,
Oh, okay.
but
I'm
um,
curious if that will garner any sort of nominations like Golden Globe stuff.
it's hard to say. It really is. But I thought it was a very well done mob show.
Yeah.
and a very good. It's a different take on the Penguin, but not. Um, it's different, but very similar. Especially having gone back and taken Danielle's advice and reading some of the more sporadic Penguin stories. I'm like, okay, that made me really appreciate what the Penguin had become in the comics because I was like, okay, he's a mob boss, but who gives a fuck?
Oh,
Ah,
well, would you like to elaborate on which comics you would recommend to the viewers to check
oh
out
yeah,
if they're still on the fence about the TV show and everything?
yeah. And I was reading the books before I read the watched the Penguin show because after I got really wrapped up into like, okay, you know what? People, I've heard a few people say it's really good. Give it a shot. I'm like, dude, it's not going to go anywhere. What the fuck's the point watching it? And like, I was wrong about that.
Yeah,
I'm not afraid to admit when I'm wrong. Um, Pain and Prejudice was which was a very good one. I didn't like the ending. I thought the ending, not the how it ends, but like the very ending. I'm like, eh. But overall, it was a very great story. There's a couple of God, let me if I could find them real quick because I saved them on. I told Nathan I re up for DC's comic
yeah,
book app.
yeah. You did.
Yeah.
I need to do that myself because you've been recommending a lot of stuff,
Oh
and
yeah.
instead of going through the other means of reading them and not getting viruses or anything,
Yes. Which I
I
feel
think
like
I probably will just re up and get the DC app.
it's been a lot easier to find stuff. And not have to worry about all that pop-up virus shit.
Yeah,
Um, Another one is Batman featuring the Penguin from 2013's 23.3. That was it's just a solo age. It's part of the New 52, but it has nothing to do with all that. It's just
yeah.
a great mob story of how he runs his organization. Um, let's see, there was like a two-parter from the 90s that was a lot of fun. And then I was reading some of Paul Dini's run from like 2007, some of the issues that he had done. There's a pretty good Penguin story like, where he's more or less reformed in that story, but it was still like a good story that he's featured in. Um, oh, what was the fuck? Oh yeah, from Joker's Asylum, Penguin number one. That I think that might have been my favorite one of the ones that I have had come across and heard about. Like that was probably better than Pain and Prejudice, I thought, because it really amplifies it, and he does this in Pain and Prejudice. But that's why I would love to get Nathan's take on this one in particular. Is one person he thinks laughs at him, and this is also happens in Pain and Prejudice. The shit he is willing and will do if he thinks anyone has looked at him funny, has insulted him, and had no idea it was him. He does some really fucked up shit
Okay.
to just say, you know what, I didn't like how you looked at me. I thought you laughed at me, so I did this, and I'm gonna let you know that I did it, and I'm gonna let you know this is gonna happen, and when that's over, that's gonna happen after that.
Mm,
It's like fuck, man. Like, you know what? That makes the Penguin a very and you get hints of that in the Penguin show,
okay.
not completely, but there are hints of that, which was quite nice.
And
So,
to tack on to that, another thing that we can probably discuss in the future. I haven't read it yet, but Tyler recommended it, and I picked up a cheap copy on eBay.
oh yeah, yeah.
Green Arrow Year One. So that's something that we will probably cover in the future as well. But
Yep.
another thing that Tyler watched and turns out he was really wrong
Oh
about.
yeah, yeah. Was Brave and the Bold.
Yeah,
Yeah.
after all this time of telling you that it's really good. I think
Yeah.
you'll probably like it if you give it a chance. You finally sat down and watched a
I
handful of
watched about
episodes.
six, 7, 8 episodes, I think. Like that
Yeah,
day, excuse me. The following day, I was like, all right. I sat there and I picked up the one about uh, 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 the one that Danielle recommended about Joe Chill. Um, that was the first one I watched. Okay, that was pretty fucking good. Like I really liked that, and all the voice actors they brought in for that particular episode. Like, oh my god, like that was just like oh, I think it's Mark Hamill. Sure enough, it was. It's Kevin Conroy. Oh my god, Tatum West. It's Julie Newmar. Like left and right. Like this is fucking great. So I started jumping around to some others, just based on who's featured in it. I watched the Blue Beetle episode where he's falling over the Huntress. I was like, yeah, because she's really fucking hot. And the one about the sidekicks going off on their own mission together
Yeah.
and taking on Ra's al Ghul. I'm like, that was a lot of fun too. So Aquaman. When you guys thought I wouldn't like Aquaman, like I enjoyed the hell out of Aquaman. The episode where Ocean Master and Black Manta team up.
No,
Uh,
I think we were saying that Aquaman was awesome.
but I think you guys thought I wouldn't like him, though. I thought is what you
There
said.
was, I think, yeah, I guess there was the potential there that you might not, but so I'm glad that you liked Aquaman.
Yeah, yeah, that and I watched the one about the Flash where Professor Zoom, takes over. So he teams up with Kid Flash and the old Flash to save, Barry Allen, and that was a lot of fun too. And just seeing all these like little nods and cameos, and the one with Batmite, I enjoyed the hell out of that. Like,
Paul
oh my god,
Rubens.
yeah, Paul Rubens. I'm like, fuck, man, like this. Yeah, and he rolled in that, and that was a lot of fun. Just seeing all the obscure Silver Age characters popping up all over the place. Uh, I appreciated the humor in it. I didn't feel like, ugh, ugh,
Yeah,
ugh.
it's
It
got a
was.
good balance to it.
Yeah, I was surprised how serious it got at times. Like, it wasn't constantly like, look at this, it's funny, and it
Yeah,
was a nice balance of action, adventure, and humor that didn't kill the tone or feel like this is too jarring for what you're trying to tell me here. So yes, I was wrong again. I was wrong about that. I was wrong about the Penguin. I was wrong about watching the Penguin. I was wrong about a lot of stuff here lately. It's time for rejuvenation, rebirth, and all that shit.
yeah. It's like you're Scrooge. You're
Yeah, I
Ebenezer
am.
right here.
I'm like I'm happy a lot more. I'm like Bill Murray, just pulling my hair out and just having this big awakening live on the internet right now.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
it's a good feeling, man. A feeling I haven't felt in a long time. It gave me a moment. I could probably get the tears, man. I could think about some really good sad stuff. But you know what? I'm gonna spare everybody that, and you
well,
especially.
I'm glad that you've given all these things a chance, and and it's worked out for the best. That
Absolutely.
you've enjoyed them, and because of Danielle recommending it and you watching it and recommending it, I will do my best to try to watch the all of the Penguin during this
Yeah.
break and report back. Before we move on to our topic of the night, first and foremost, link is down in the description below for this episode, so you guys can go ahead and click on that, get that loaded up, so you can watch this along with us. But before we move on to that, I do want to highlight a couple of things that we have here. This came from TC Lifestyle Adventure. Greetings and blessings to you. I'm not entirely sure if you've been here before, so I
Well, greetings and blessings to you, bud. And please tell us in the comments how you found us or what you think. Have you watched anything, or is this just like you just came across us by accident and decided to give us your time?
rewind the time saying Merry Christmas to you both.
And Merry Christmas to you.
Andrew Grubb, hi to you all, and Lacey Dean saying Merry Christmas, which nice thumbs up and a little avatar of yourself. Thank you.
Merry Christmas to all you guys. I appreciate that and giving us your time this evening, and
Yeah,
hopefully we'll make it worth your while.
especially after we were just live last night doing the show. But that was kind of the thing. The original plans were to do this past Friday, but Tyler had plans, so we're like, let's go ahead and do this Monday because it's going into Christmas Eve and my vacation starting. Tyler's vacation's mostly starting.
Well, I'm on a lax work schedule, so I'm like,
Yeah,
you know what? I'm like, I got work tomorrow, but I'm like, I don't have to be up at the ass crack of dawn, so it's
yeah.
it's all
So
right.
it makes it a little bit easier
Yeah.
to be here. But Tyler, you got this loaded up. Hopefully, all of you watching right now have it loaded up. And go ahead and give us a countdown, and we'll get going.
All right, man. 3, 2, 1, action. Oh
So
my
this
God, I'm so
is
giddy.
episode 13 from season 1, and part of this will come into play that we're 13 episodes in. So some of the ghosts that we've seen in the previous episodes are going to show
Yeah.
up.
And I saw this as a kid. I didn't see it like, because there was a bunch of episodes I hadn't seen because, I remember less than a handful when they first aired, but I remember seeing this on the Cartoon Express on USA in probably 1990 or 91. And I swear I thought it was made specifically that year. Like I had no idea that it was made back in '86.
Yeah.
So in my mind, oh my God, there's one about the Ghostbusters and Scrooge. Like this is fucking amazing. And it was right before Christmas. Like it was like a day or two before Christmas Eve when I saw it.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was so fucking cool, and it blew my fucking mind, man. It was I couldn't believe it.
I want to say that I also saw this as a kid, but I cannot tell you the specific date
Yeah.
or year that I watched this.
I couldn't be that specific. I just know it was early in elementary school. Like it was, I had no idea. I think it was even, I can't remember if it was even advertised. Like they were saying, well, we playing, Christmas cartoons, on the USA Cartoon Express. And for it to be about Scrooge, like, oh my God, because I was such a fan of Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol and Bill Murray's Scrooge when I saw this. So it was just, oh my God, man, this is the greatest
Yeah,
story
I
ever.
went into the rewatch of this totally blind, not reading anything to see what I was getting myself into, and just the misdirection here at the beginning of them riding through this snowstorm, and then what transpires. I'm like, all right, yeah, it's very far fetched, but you got to
Yes.
think of what we're
Everything in the
talking
show,
about here.
like
Yeah,
you cannot go into this episode and think, why would this? Is like, dude, they are taking on a wide variety of monsters and ghosts and other dimensions all over the place. Like, if that's your problem, then you're not going to be a Ghostbusters fan. Period. So, um,
do you have any idea what the song was that was playing? It was like it seemed like it's an actual song,
yeah,
right?
it's a
Yeah.
song that was made for the show, but
Okay.
our buddy James could, because he is a big aficionado of this series, so he
I'm
knows
sure
it
he'll
inside and
message
out.
me and be like, "You fucking idiots! This is what it
Yes, I
is."
was like, hey, we didn't claim that we knew everything. We're just saying,
Yeah.
like, no, we're giving you full credit, James. We're plugging you in your channel, man. So shut the fuck up.
So when we were answering a question last night on the show about 80s cartoon characters that we think fits our personalities, Venkman
Mhm.
was one of the ones that I had said for myself.
Absolutely, dude. Him and Winston. Well, I loved all four of them as a kid. Like
I
they were
Yeah, I
just
do too.
their look. Like Winston had the mint green jumpsuit. Ray had the brown. Egon had the kind of bluish gray, and Peter had the brown. Like all the unique looks. Like I loved all four of them. But Peter and Winston were by far my favorites as a kid, though. Yeah, I
But
just
yeah, yeah, I just wasn't expecting like they get blown away and we see this little vortex, and it's gonna come to find out that they have gone back in time. I'm like, all right, you know what? Yeah, I'm in.
and just almost to the point where it's like in this world, like it comes off like Scrooge is just a story, but almost like it was a historical event,
Yeah,
almost like
yeah,
a story that people told. No, this actually happened, as opposed to how we view it in our world. But it just seemed like such a no-brainer. Like I'm so glad that J. Michael Straczynski like had the idea, like, you know what? Let's put the Ghostbusters against the most famous ghost story, one of the most famous ghost stories of like, how does
yeah.
this, it was just genius.
Here we
And
get
being such a fan of this story in general too, it was just like, oh my God, this is just one of the best Ghostbuster stories ever.
yeah, get our little Tiny Tim,
Yeah.
Bob Cratchit's cameo here.
Which, if you really think about it, this could have been a two-parter. I feel like they really could
Oh,
have.
yeah, absolutely.
It's such a
They could have
jam-packed
stretched
story.
this
They
out.
squeeze in. Yeah, it really deserves a two-parter, I think. I mean, I love it, but it's like,
Yeah,
God, they could
yeah.
have really stretched this story out in a great way. Especially with,
Rawr.
oh, and I love the way Jacob Marley looks. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh
he looks
God, I wish we'd have seen
fantastic
more of
when
this,
he fought.
man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he looks so fucking cool. Like, oh, it's so awesome.
Yeah, yeah. Just it's so quick, but
Yes,
just
and it's like,
that detail in his face looks. Yeah,
because in the story of Christmas Carol, that's one of my favorite parts is the build up to Jacob Marley coming and haunting Scrooge that night in his house all by himself in the dark. Like, oh, we could have had like this awesome, intense build up, and just yeah, seeing all three ghosts. Which that's the only way this is going to work for them to. But I almost feel like they could have. Did you recognize Scrooge's voice by chance?
no,
It's Splinter from the Turtles cartoon.
really.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know his name right off, so anyone's going to correct me. Like I'm not going to, that was one of the voice casts of the original TMT. I just never memorized. So, but I'm like that Splinter.
Me, Well, I'm gonna crank up the audio on my end so I can listen to him talking.
Okay. Like, that's Master Splinter.
Yeah, you can hear. I can. Yeah. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah. And just seeing all these lines of dialogue pulled right from A Christmas Carol that's used in
Yeah.
damn near every version that's been made.
Telephone. Well, a phone. Telephone.
And it's just I love this. Like it just seems like so this all makes perfect sense. And Scrooge still is an asshole
Yeah.
about this. They don't see that they've done anything other than catch ghosts and the impact that this has on the world after
Yeah.
doing this. I love that so much. And it all takes place on Christmas Eve. Like I just love stories that take place like from action movies to cartoons. Like it just that's what I think when I discovered a Christmas Carol or Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol in 1987. All that happens Christmas Eve, and then learning really what Santa Claus was about the same year, it just really amplified how awesome Christmas Eve is. Like all the cool shit happens on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
You're gonna wake up and Santa Claus is coming tonight, man. And you gotta take off the ghosts and you know all this cool shit. It was a world of wonder to me. Learning about that stuff as a kid.
I love it how he's like, "All right, I'll pay you with this and nothing more." And they're like, "All right, well, this is bullshit." And
Yeah,
then
cheap bastard.
Ray looks at the coin and he's like, this is mint."
Yeah.
All right, well, that'll do. And just the is this some primitive means to tell me you want a conference?
Yeah,
Like I just love the smart ass
I
of
do too.
Bateman in
Like just
this.
constantly like that.
Emily watched it with me, and she's not too well versed in real Ghostbusters, but she heard Vinkman talk, and she's like, "Oh, hey, Garfield." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's right."
Yeah, yeah. I like this little touch here where he's pretty much saying "fuck you, Jacob Marley," and everyone that was going to haunt me. Like I've won,
Yeah.
fuck Christmas. I mean, like that's just a nice touch of like, oh my god, like what does that mean? And it's just all this. Like I don't, I could see why you'd feel like most people would say that's a bit far fetched, but
Hmm.
if you watch any of this cartoon, like
I mean, yeah,
it's just part of the world that is the real Ghostbusters. Like
yeah.
it's not.
This is one of those shows that you can't sit and be like, "Well, that wouldn't really happen."
Yeah,
It's like
look what they're doing.
it's fucking ghosts, man. Like,
Yeah.
come on. Oh well.
Yeah. And immediately coming back to the firehouse and the side
Realize,
effects were already there.
yeah, yeah. Realizing, or not, they haven't totally realized yet here, but like Janine just being like a humbug and Slimer too. Which I'm gonna say this: I appreciate that Slimer definitely takes a back seat in the
Yes.
episode. I know as the show went on, they kind of implemented Slimer way more into story and
Yeah.
giving him more to do. But I appreciate him more not being so much the
I
fun.
mean, yeah, up until like, because I know you and I were definitely watching Slimer in the real Ghostbusters, like when they changed the format and they had
Yeah.
like that little extra cartoon of Slimer versus that fucking scientist.
Hmm.
I'm like, I didn't give a shit about that as a kid. I'm like, this is fucking stupid. Like, I want to watch them catch ghosts. I don't. Here we go, man. A
Yeah.
Christmas humbug. God, this is so fucking brilliant. And just realizing, oh my God, we killed Christmas.
Other
And it's a
thing
nice,
too, the vortex that you see later on in the episode looks way more demonic than it did the first time around when they go
yeah,
through it. Has way more of a presence when they have to go back.
yeah. And it's something I feel like, you think in that kind of story, like the vortex is not there. And I remember I hadn't watched it in a while and I had forgotten that the vortex, no, it's there when they go back. Cause for some reason I had in my mind that the vortex was not there. I'm like, well, how the fuck did they get back? And it just shows you it had been a good while since I'd watched it, but
Right.
um, that could have easily been something in the story like the vortex is not here, or they get lost and they can't find it. And especially with what Egon has to do,
Yeah.
which is like that's another big. something that really could have amplified the two-parter, I think.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because they could have spent more time showing Egon inside the containment unit.
Yeah, which his suit, I'm like, as
It
much as I don't like variants, the Ghostbuster variants as a kid were ones I definitely wanted, and the containment suit that he puts on, like that would have been a cool variant of like all
let,
four Ghostbusters
let
in that
me
kind of.
go grab the figure that kind of looks very. It's similar to.
Okay.
Yeah, let me grab it.
Oh, yeah, they are in the containment unit there. As we're seeing more and more people, just dogs are hating Christmas, and everybody who's running into each other this time. I guess I'm going to assume this time of year, it's just a natural hate towards the holiday, which makes you wonder: did they list on the calendar? This is Christmas Day, and everyone just it brings up the natural hate in everybody building up to that holiday, which means like store sales have got to be like plummeting like left and right. People aren't having parties. They're just the intensified hate building up to the whole month of December.
Kind of.
That is, yeah, and that must
Yeah.
be the one. Because it's funny because that was the Winston that came with that set is the green outfit with like like this kind of big astronaut helmet. 'Cause
Yes. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. He's
yeah.
got the
I remember
astronaut
thinking
helmet.
those were Ghostbuster 2 variants, but that looks exactly a lot like what Egon wears in this episode.
Yeah, and you
Holy
kind of
shit!
get a little like,
Well, yeah, kind of like a
yeah,
little. It's almost like that's what he's wearing underneath that suit.
yeah,
That's badass. I forgot all about that figure.
yeah. They made a lot of variants.
Yes, they did, and I that was one toy line I was like, I want the screaming variants where you squeeze their arms and their
Hmm.
hair pops up and
Yeah.
all that stuff. And I
The,
just
the the only the only figures that I'm missing from that line are the Ecto Glow, the glow in the dark ones, and that's it.
God,
I
I
got
don't remember
everything
ever
else.
seeing those in the stores either as a kid. Or just like in any of the old school Ghostbusters merchandise from back in the day. Like
Yeah.
I remember really wanting the sleeping bag in the tent that was featured in the catalog, like
Oh
the
man.
Sears or J.C. Penney
Yeah,
catalog.
I got those too.
Do you have the first one or the second? Because the second one has like all four Ghostbusters. The first one just has Peter, Ray, and Egon on it.
Are we talking about the sleeping bag? Are you
Yeah, the
talking?
sleeping bag. Yeah.
The sleeping bag is purple. I don't know what.
Okay, if it's well, I think the one I'm thinking of was like a dark navy blue with all four Ghostbusters on it.
Maybe it is navy blue, and I'm thinking that it's
Okay.
purple.
Okay.
I don't know. I would
I just
have
remember.
to. I'd have to look at it. I have that and the tent. They're both down
Oh
in a
God,
tote
man.
somewhere in the
Yeah.
basement.
Oh, I wanted that so bad as a kid.
Egon saying here, they're like, "Hey, what if you don't come out?" And they're like, "Well, I guess you guys are gonna have to be the three ghosts."
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's the vortex again. Looks way
Yeah.
more demonic.
Very intense looking.
And this is a good little segment here too, where it's like, all right, we have to be the ghosts.
Like we've got to focus on trying to convince this guy. No, yeah, he's an asshole, and you're wrong, and we got to make this shit work until Egon gets here. And knowing that, like Scrooge, that night he's sitting up writing like this whole story of the Christmas humbug. Like
Yeah.
just I love the look too, like the look of the town and the constant snowfall. It's beautiful animation. Lorenzo music, man, that is a voice that amongst cartoon fans he is beloved. But I feel like that is just someone that just needs more intense recognition for his quality of voice acting with as Peter, as Garfield, and
Hmm.
everything else he's done, man. Like I love that you said that Emily's like, hey, that's Garfield talking.
Yeah. Well, it's just very distinctive, and I remember him too, like because he did the what was it, the country crock
Yeah,
butter commercials.
yeah, yes, he did, yeah,
Yeah. This is fucking nuts.
yeah. But quite believable
Ign-
of trying to
the
convince him,
nitrate just
yeah,
shooting off and having the flashlight.
and
Well,
giving
you
him
got to
a
think too
viewmaster.
that this is someone that hasn't,
Experience technology.
yeah,
So yeah,
anything in
you
that
could
regard.
totally
Yeah,
fuck with him and say, no, this is the real deal. And yeah, that's such an awesome suit that he's wearing there. It would not be the first time they have to go into the containment. I know Slimer had to go in to get Stay Puffed.
Yeah.
Forgot what episode it was, but
Yeah, it is very much like when you look at it, it is very much kind of a combination of the
it
two there.
really is.
Yeah.
It looks great.
But yeah, just the fact that Egon's like, yeah, all right, we got this whipped up. I'm going in. I was like, ah.
Yep.
But he is like one of the smartest people on the planet. So
Can't argue with his genius. So like if he says he can do it or he's going to or he has done it, like I can't argue that.
this cool shot of here going through the
Absolutely. Like what the ghosts see when they go through there.
yeah
Which, when you see this and you go back and watch the movies and think about when they're putting the ghosts in that unit, like, okay, that's what it looks like, when
yeah.
they all these ghosts that when they break out in the first one, this is the kind of world that they left. Which I actually watched it over the weekend just for the hell of it. I was
I
in the
need
mood to
to
watch
yeah
Ghostbusters.
need to watch that too because Emily really likes the first movie. I think she likes the second one too. I don't think we've watched the second one as many times as
I
the
was going to
first.
watch part two. I just didn't have time this weekend, so that's something I'd like to try and watch over the next couple of days too. That's something I like. I think we should do sometime is do like a commentary for Ghostbusters too, and
Okay.
maybe
Yeah.
for Christmas next year or something like that too. Or fuck, we can do it in the summer, because Ghostbusters
Yeah,
two. I can,
let's do it not at Christmas time. You already know how I feel about that. Let's do it in like June.
yeah, when it came out,
Yeah.
it came out in June of '89.
Yeah, I'll go get my my Hardee's cups that are sitting on the
Yeah.
shelf.
Oh, I
Yeah.
need to get me the Hardy's noisemakers that
Yeah,
they
I
sell.
got all four of those.
You're an asshole.
I'll just put I need to put new batteries in them, of
Oh my
course, though.
god, I had the red one. I thought it was so fucking cool.
I
I remember
love
go
that
around zapping ghosts.
he straps on the
The
Viewmaster.
Viewmaster there, yeah, to show him like, which I'm assuming is like slides of A Christmas Carol in a Viewmaster. So
Yeah.
this is
Yeah. That's my school that I went to as a boy.
it's like, well, you think it might be working if you're familiar with the story, like, okay, I think it's working. Yeah, I love how Janine
Wait,
can
no,
watch like,
right. And now
just
we
seeing a
get the
lot
shot
there,
of the other
Sandman.
ghosts. Yeah.
Yeah, Sam Hain shows up here in a quick cameo, and
It's a nice touch.
it really is like it's just a nice little bonus in this Christmas episode.
Yeah.
Like
It
if
gives
you
you
were,
the continuity of
oh
the
yeah,
ghosts that they've captured before. Oh, they still exist in this
yeah.
containment unit.
And that they really wanted to connect the first film with the cartoon also. So you could watch the movie and think, okay, these are the adventures that they've had after that. But then you're like, how does the second movie tie in? You know? Which
And
I
now
never did read like the comic book miniseries that was made about the second movie, but
I don't think that I did either. But it's
yeah.
nice to see here with Vinkman kind of coming around and it's like, oh wait, you know what? I've kind of been thinking very
Yeah,
similar to
yeah, as
Scrooge
he's
here.
hammering these things in his head, it's like it's starting to click in his own head.
Yeah, because we
Which
didn't talk about this is the fact that Vinkman's not a big fan of Christmas because his dad was always away for work and everything. So he didn't get to, I guess he didn't enjoy it the way that other kids got to.
Which it kind of shows like he really either had a what he thought was a very close relationship with his father and something that you're really eager to look forward to is not happening. We don't know if his mother was around and he had stayed with relatives, or he really just looked up to his dad so much to where, Christmas was just, shot to death because he really loved his father and he wasn't there those holidays. So
Yeah. I when we get to it towards the end, I do have one little nitpick.
okay.
It's not a major thing, but it's just something I was thinking about. I was like, huh, I guess I'll mention it when we get to it. Uh, there is a thing here, though. I'm like, I thought these three ghosts could actually hover and fly. Why all of a sudden are they grounded? Because everyone else can move, but
I
they
I get
but they
I
have to
guess
wait for Egon to lift them out of there.
I don't know. I
So I
guess
guess I
part
have two nitpicks.
that one I'm just kind of they're maybe in their mind they're thinking like they are related, not like brothers sisters, but they are a group. So it's almost like maybe they're
Yeah,
there. We don't know where we're at. What is this like? Even though they are spirits, they're not demonic spirits. So
yeah,
I kind of feel like they would probably have no idea about any of this stuff other than maybe that there are evil spirits that haunt this world, but that's not what they are.
right. That was a good shot previous to all the ghosts together
Oh
flying
yeah,
towards them.
yeah.
Yeah,
That was kick
that was fun.
ass. Yeah, see, I feel like, as good as this is, like, God, there could be
It's too
so much.
fast. It's
It's
too
way too
fast.
fast. Yeah.
Yeah, we're running out of time here.
Yeah, I love
But
how just
but
Winston's kind of just leaning against the ledge just
all of a sudden
casually.
it's like, oh, Egon's here now. I'm like, yeah, it does move too
It
fast.
Yeah, it wraps itself up really, really quick here. And I know, like, and maybe it's just one of those things. Like, it was a great idea, but we can't do a two-parter. We've got
Mm.
to, you know, and here we are. Like, the spirits are back, and
Three more?
yes, I love how Egon gives the Jacob Marley speech essentially all over
Yeah,
again
yeah,
with
pretty
his own
much.
spin on it.
The third will come
Whenever.
whenever. But I like that. Let's take it from the top, and then the wind closes
Yeah.
the shutter. That's cool.
And like, okay, Scrooge will learn the error of his ways.
All right, so here comes my nitpick.
Okay.
So the ghosts are gonna open up this little portal there, like right here where they're at on this rooftop. They're gonna go back to the firehouse.
Okay.
I'm like, they left the Ecto one setting, so they how are they need to go back and get that?
Well,
You
maybe it's
know,
one of those things where it's
he brought the
they're
car too.
yeah, where it's like it's
He
almost like one of
brought he
those.
brought them, and now he will go back and somehow get the Ecto one back in
Yeah.
the firehouse. That they
Yeah.
don't have to go back. Yeah, we'll go with that one.
Either that, or it's like, holy shit, we got to go get another ambulance, and just like have to,
So, is that just water, or is this like blue
or some blue
raspberry
punch.
punch?
Yeah, I
Like
like to
what?
think maybe it's some sort of blue raspberry punch, but it
Yeah,
does look
like
like,
Hawaiian punch.
yeah, like
Yeah,
blue
the blue
raspberry Hawaiian.
Hawaiian
Yeah,
punch. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. The punch bowl look. Yeah,
yeah.
it's
Hopefully spiked. Of course, they
yeah,
need it to celebrate.
yeah.
But I like that the little Santa Claus thing.
That was a great touch too. Yeah,
Yeah,
like they're acknowledging it, but also like they're playing it safe too.
Tyler, the episode's already over.
God, that was
Like
too
what
damn
happened?
fast.
It's
Yes.
like we blinked and it was over.
God. It's fun doing these Christmas cartoons though. It's
Yeah,
the
no, it really
episodes that
is.
focus on a Christmas story of some kind, and there's others. We wanted to do the
Well,
Evermorlock Christmas, and
well, we could probably still squeeze that in.
yeah,
It'll be after Christmas, but we might still squeeze that in. We'll see. We'll
yeah,
see.
or we got there was a Batman Christmas story I wanted Nathan to read too. That was focused on the Joker that I sent him, and that's a great, like, fucked up Christmas story. Oh, look, it's Ghostbusters 2016. Oh, look at the shitty afterlife. Oh my
Well,
god.
that's because this episode was on the official
I
Ghostbusters
know. I'm
channel.
just like looking at all these clips of like, oh, look at all these shitty Ghostbuster movies that they made. Oh, great.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't watch that newest one. It's on Netflix, but I can't bring myself to do it.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
have
think.
once I even found out even more what was in Afterlife. Fuck, no, I'm not
I
watching that
think
movie.
Afterlife for me was just a good that to me it was decent enough for me to cap it off and be like, all right, you know what, I'm we're done with this.
I just felt like you're really going to bring back Gozer and the Demon Dogs. Like, what the
Well,
fuck for in a
I well
cornfield?
yeah well
It's just like, God,
hey,
man.
what are next, you know?
Yeah, yeah, I know, and it's just like, oh, fuck you.
But I don't. Let's concentrate on the positives here.
Yeah, the positive stuff here.
Out of 10, what would you give this episode?
Oh, the premise alone gives it a 10 out of 10 because I'm just like, this
Yeah,
is this is a fucking no brainer, man. I
yeah.
love this.
It's just so fun.
Yeah, it's a blast to watch. I
If we
just
had
wish
one
we got,
complaint,
yeah,
we wish we could have got more from it
yeah,
because
because I to have seen the Ghostbusters, like, they're one, like, you could had that first episode build up to them meeting Scrooge and seeing the ghost and like seeing Jacob Marley and they miss him. And Scrooge was like, look, I don't know who you guys are. If you say you can catch ghosts, I'll pay you. But just hang around my place and catch every ghost that shows up, and I'll give you half a crown. You know.
Yeah,
So they stay, capture all the ghosts, leave, and then when they come back to their usual time, they realize, oh my god, we fucking killed Christmas. Like that would be so cool to see them capture Jacob Marley. Like oh, I'm getting chills on my face. Like if they're wandering around town and they're trying to figure out where we're at, where, what is this? And they run into Scrooge on his way home, and he like dismisses them, and he's like sees like the Jacob Marley's face on the door knocker, like he does, like,
yeah.
you know what?
And also maybe have them dress in the garb from the time too to really make sure they don't stand out as much,
Yeah,
sort of thing. Yeah, be a little more
when
incognito with the other ghosts, so it kind of easy like plays into the trap that Scrooge wants them to capture everybody.
yeah, God, that'd be so fucking cool, man. Like to see them
Now,
like they
so
wait
I'll
in
say,
Scrooge's. Go
what
ahead.
would you still go through with the same story beats as they get back? We killed Christmas, and then still have Egon going to the
I
containment
would
unit
do
and do
that,
all
but
that.
I would have it be more dramatic. Like Egon gets stuck. Like he's in there and he's got to ward off the others to try and get the ghost of Christmas, uh, past, present, future, safely out of the containment unit. And like, dude, we've got to do this before Christmas Eve is over. If we don't make it by the time midnight strikes,
Yeah,
well, and technically, Scrooge is still learning about stuff in the
yeah.
early mornings of Christmas
So
Day.
you would have to go to like 3 4 a.m. Christmas
Yeah,
morning or something.
like to like by the Scrooge has got to meet Ghost of Christmas Future by this particular time
Yeah,
frame
yeah.
for everything to for him to wake up the next day and realize he's been wrong. Like you really could really intensify like this is
Would
a
you
race against time.
cut out maybe have all of them go into the containment unit instead of and do away with the them dressing as the ghosts.
I yeah, because we could cut that.
I mean,
The
and I don't want to say that as a disparaging thing of how they did
no,
it
no,
in the
but
episode
but I
because that
feel
was
like
a lot of fun. But just
if we
if
dismiss
we're
that
making
though,
it a two-parter,
we're making it a two-parter. Like really seeing the after effects, like you like the first maybe 2 3 minutes helps build up like what a world that what you get that very briefly. Like it's not like we need to focus too much on that, but I think the idea of saying like we got to go in and get the ghost back and then find that vortex, like you really could.
let
Excuse me.
let's let's do Egon, Ray, Winston go into the containment unit. Leave Vinkman with Scrooge because they have the similar ideals with Christmas to begin with. That way, Vinkman can still change his ways.
See, I feel like Venkman would probably fight it. I feel like you need Winston or Ray to encourage Peter. All right, we're gonna go find the vortex.
Yeah, but they built up the whole thing of Peter not liking Christmas. So I think him being with Scrooge would kind of they're both learning together.
All right, I would go with that still, but I would have like when they're going back to the vortex, like Winston's like, okay, Peter, like Ray was mentioned that your father wasn't there, and have Peter give a little exposition from his perspective of why I don't give two shits about Christmas on their way to meet Scrooge. It doesn't have to be like a lengthy, you know, just a little bit of exposition from him. No, you don't even have flashback animation, just him talking about you know a little bit of like explanation as to like what it meant for his father to be there at Christmas and he never was, and I got to where like what, I don't look forward to Christmas because of that.
Yeah.
But is it necessary? No, but I just feel like I think splitting the team up in two, like Ray and Egon go into the containment unit,
All right,
Winston.
yeah, yeah. You have because if you have that conversation with Winston kind of being the one talking to Peter early on to establish, oh, hey, this is da 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 da. Having Winston there with Vinkman while they're with Scrooge kind of builds upon the conversation. Yeah, all right.
Yeah,
And we're used to, especially in like our Ninja Turtle cartoons and stuff, seeing the team split in half or whatever.
yeah,
So that'd be a good way to
yeah,
go.
because I think Winston, he's definitely one of the biggest voices of reason because he's the everyman. And that's something I think would be a lot of fun to explore. Is like this guy has no ties to science, parapsychology, psychology. He's just an everyman. Is like I need a job, and to see how this coming into this world of the paranormal and supernatural, like how does just the everyday blue collar guy just come in and like I got to go catch ghosts tonight, honey. I'm sorry, I got to cancel our date, or I
It's
can't
because the
make it.
checks are clear.
The checks are clear, but it's almost like how do you decompress from something you have no interest in at all? Like it's just a job, but like
So,
I have seen shit that'll turn you white. Like you don't just decompress from that, especially if you're not into that stuff.
so I, I watched a shitload of episodes of Real Ghostbusters as a kid. My memory with it not that great. Was there ever an episode in the series that kind of explores those themes of Winston having to deal with all the shit that he's seen?
I don't know either. I'm kind of like you. I've watched a lot of episodes, but I especially because after season two, when Lorenzo Music was fired and they brought in fucking Dave Coulier,
Yeah.
I can't bring myself to watch those episodes. Like I know James has probably recommended a lot of those episodes, but I'm like,
Hmm.
I can't stand Peter's voice. Everyone else is fine, but I'm like, I can't. As a kid, it bothered me. I'm like, why is Peter's voice different? It sounds terrible.
Yeah.
You know?
James, after you watch this episode and you shake your head a couple times, just send us a message on that Spinner Rack chat that we have,
Yeah. Like
and,
Winston has
let
like
us know.
episodes where he is the shining star of the episode. Like him, he's like the last one to battle the Sandman. There's an episode where he takes on the ghost in a baseball game. So there are Winston centric episodes, but as to like addressing like I have no background in the supernatural, and yet what is someone like you and I,
Hmm.
just we're gonna join this team of guys who catch ghosts, but like what do I know about this? Like, it pays well, but I'm like, fuck, man, we gotta go,
Yeah.
we gotta go fight this demon in this house in upstate New York,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and then hope we get home in time to sleep and all this other stuff. Like, it's a very demanding job for someone who's not. And even though Venkman is technically he's like the con man of the group, but he still was part of the original group, so he has to have some sort of, like he says, I have PhDs in parapsychology and psychology. He obviously cared enough to bullshit his way into that stuff. So
Yeah.
there had to have been some morsel of interest in the supernatural until he starts seeing attractive women. Like, yeah, I'll get to that.
Yeah.
But
Good
it's a
stuff.
lot of stuff to break down apart, and have fun with, as opposed to like, oh, Sony, you got another fucking
No,
movie coming
no,
out.
no,
Oh,
no, don't do that.
it's great.
Um,
But a lot of fun talking about this with you, man, as
yeah,
I know it would be.
absolutely. And we'll try to get something going later in the week, whether that's us watching another Christmas themed cartoon or if we discuss a comic. We'll figure that out in
Yeah.
between. But yeah, is there anything else you wanna talk about before we get out of here?
Uh, can't think of anything else off the top of my head, man. I feel like we
I
had a pretty something on your mind.
well, I don't want us to get into another rant like we usually. I don't want to be samesies about it, but I would like to get your opinion on the Superman
I
trailer.
know that was coming to me.
And
Uh,
I don't want to get on the same train of thought. I want to just kind of get your opinion, and then we'll move on from it.
okay.
I didn't think it was bad. I thought it was a trailer that was decently put together, but at the end of the day, and I said this last night, I don't think the final product is going to be indicative of what everyone saw in the trailer. I think people that really enjoyed it are getting their hopes up about it because they want it to be good, especially after just how the Snyder movies turned out.
Yeah.
But I think it's just going to be too much, and I know one of the things you're probably worried about is how James Gunn will be with the humor. So
Hmm.
and that would be that's a valid concern to have, I guess.
Yeah, and that's really my biggest concern. Even from the trailer, it's like I still feel like he's gonna make everyone about quips and witty remarks, and nothing's ever taken seriously. And oh my God, Lex Luthor has done this. Like, well, let's look at the camera and make his witty remark. Oh, well, Mr. Clean's at it again. Wink, or some fucking lame comment. I don't mind Crypto. Like I know he's going to be in it, so I had no problem with
Yeah,
Crypto.
and it looked good.
But I feel like though I could see that character being pushed immensely to sell toys and
Oh,
merchandise. So he's going to be
absolutely.
like down
He'll
your
be
throats in the movie with killing the tone because he's got to be cute and funny. Like you can't just have fun with the character, but I feel like I could see that character being shoved
being
down your
being
fucking
yeah yeah
throats.
yeah.
And I was worried, like, as cool as it was to see, like, Hot Girl, Mr. Terrific, I'm like, dude, we're doing this again. You're gonna shove another fuck ton of characters into a Superman movie. Like, can't you just focus on Luthor and Superman and that is it?
I get that, but also they've done that so much in the
I know,
past.
and it's like, you know what? When does it work?
Like
People are going to
what?
start saying like you're taking
Why?
too much away from the main storyline. Like,
Why? Like why can't we do like Brainiac or something?
why not Brainiac? Why not Parasite? Why not, I mean,
Do
I feel like
something with Bizarro, maybe,
yeah,
or maybe like Gorilla Grodd or something.
yeah. I mean, they could have done. I mean, I have no problem with Luther because honestly, there hasn't been a. I mean, Gene Hackman's Luther I learned to appreciate, but then you have
Hmm.
Kevin Spacey's, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't
And
mind.
I like the actor that's playing
Yeah,
Luther.
Nicholas Holt playing him, like, I have no problem with that. He looks cool as the character, but I just worry about James Gunn bringing the Guardians of the Galaxy humor to Superman, and it's just I don't like the suit. I think the actor playing Superman looks very puny. He doesn't
Mhm.
look very imposing as Superman. Like, he looks very.
He looked better as Clark in the trailer. Like
I thought Clark is like,
I'm not the biggest fan of the suit either. So
yeah, I don't
yeah.
like the suit, but Lois looks very frumpy, and Clark just looks like they're trying way too hard to be bumbling. Like, it's like they just don't seem to understand. Like, you can have people be nerdy, but do you guys understand what it really means to be awkward and nerdy, as opposed to just I'm stumbling and running into stuff. Oh my god, I dropped my coffee. Oh my god, I did this. Oh my god, I fell over. It's like, you know, did you guys ever watch Clark or Christopher Reeve's version of Clark Kent? Like, he's nervous, he's playing a part, but almost feel like unless he's around people he really needs to be cautious about, he's not constantly like, I don't know.
Well, we'll keep it Superman themed here. Did you watch that Christopher Reeve documentary on Max?
I still haven't watched. I need to
Okay.
sit down and watch that too, and I really want to watch that a lot.
I won't give any thoughts on it. I'll let you watch it first, and then we can
Okay,
discuss it later.
okay. I kind of got just that face from me, like, it might be a bit lackluster in what they.
Sort of.
Yeah.
It gave me a greater appreciation for his wife.
Hmm.
But then also, and this might sound terrible.
You figure, you
There,
know what? I was wrong about Somewhere in Time.
no, that movie's a piece of shit. But there were parts like after his accident, and he's like talking about it. I'm like, he's still kind of an asshole.
Which kind of
And
remember when South Park was giving him shit, and they did an episode about him. Pretty much.
I don't think because we talked with David Prowse,
Hmm.
and he did not have nice things to say about Christopher Reeve.
That's when he did the first Superman with him and had nothing nice to say about him way back then.
Yeah. Um. So I guess just taking that into account, and then just how, and maybe it's not so much that he is, but it's just the the way he says shit just makes him sound that way, I guess.
Yeah.
But I was like, damn, like some of the things he's saying even after this, I was like, all right, yeah, I guess David Prowse was right. I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know, and it's like douching saying here, Prowse was a massive dick, so maybe it was just like two dicks just
yeah,
smashing
two
into
dudes
each other, you
banging
know?
each other. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I I don't know, but even prior to the accident, when they're showing clips of him, and he's talking about stuff, and they're like, oh, um, because his two oldest kids he had with his girlfriend, they never got married, and there's an interview clip with him where he's just like, oh well, I don't, blah, 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 blah. And then it cuts to him saying like, oh, there were plenty of temptations and stuff. I was like, dude, like you just sat and talked about how lovely this was and how having kids, but then now you're like, I had plenty of opportunities to bang other chicks. I didn't do it. I had plenty of
Bullshit. He
opportunities.
fucked James Seymour on Somewhere in Time, and then broke it off
That's
with her because of
so
his.
that's what I'm saying. So I was
Yeah.
like, all right. But if you watch it, let me know what you think.
Okay.
I think it could have been longer because I think it only clocks in at like an hour 45. But just his wife, like what she obviously had to deal with. She's in love with this man, and now he's just paralyzed from the neck down forever, and she can't, like, make love to him anymore,
Yeah.
and like everything has changed. And to think that she gets cancer and dies like 10 months after he passes away, and their son, like that's kind of the brutal stuff. It's just the stuff with the kids, and when they're talking about everything that's gone on, like the two oldest kids talking about when him and their mom uh parted ways, because this kind of happened around the time Superman 4 came out, and he feels like he's just been like that. This is the only character that anyone gives a shit about. Like he goes and he does other movies, but they don't do well, or like
Yeah.
critics pan it or whatever. So the kids talk about them separating, and then when he meets who would later become his wife, and talking about how sweet and amazing she was, and how she always wanted to be present and not just be their friend and not try to be their mom, and all that stuff I enjoyed way more than I did anything really centric and
About
talking about,
Superman.
yeah, or just talking about him. Like I cared about everyone else's story around this thing than I did like just his accident and stuff. But yeah, if you watch it, let me know what you think.
Absolutely, dude. It's
Yeah,
a very interesting to hear those kind of thoughts about
it's
what you
solid.
thought about
It's
it.
solid enough. Like you just, it was nice to learn about the other things. It doesn't really go into detail as much about Superman stuff, which I'm totally fine with. I like seeing more of the personable stuff and just being
Yeah.
like, all right, well, maybe David Prowse is right. I'm not sure. Everyone else. The other heartbreaking thing, I guess, is they talk pretty decently at length about his relationship with Robin Williams, about how they came up
I heard
together.
about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's good too. Um
What
oh,
what
so
talking to David Prowse was a fun experience though.
it
I
was.
yeah, that
It
was really
seemed like
cool
he
though.
really wanted to get that off his chest. Was it you that kind of initiated that
Yeah, because I
whole
asked him about his training about Christopher Reeve for Superman,
ah
and he was
you're the
because
one
I'm
that
like,
brought it up.
well, because I'm like, dude, everyone's gonna ask this guy about playing fucking Darth Vader. Like, let's do something
Hmm.
different,
Hey,
And
it's the
he
name
was,
of the show.
yeah, and he did, and he just sat there and was completely upfront on his views on Christopher Reeve, and talking about getting uh fussed and yelled at when he was gone from the set to, I think, attend some bodybuilding competitions in Europe somewhere, and came back to the set at Pinewood, I think, where they were filming Superman, and Christopher Reeve is just screaming, yelling at him, saying like, I'm losing muscle, I'm out of shape," and for someone who's doing their first big film and to have an ego like that,
Yeah.
if that's what really happened, but yeah, and just I don't know, just start interactions with him, like when he was saying like, no, when he had his accident, I didn't feel bad for him at all. Like,
Yeah, we were.
fuck, dude,
Yeah,
like,
it was pretty dark.
it was, I mean, it was like, oh my God, like I appreciated how upfront he was about his feelings on it. Cause I'm like, like, oh, can I record you saying that? I'm gonna go on the internet and just exploit the shit out of it. You're like, no, it was a private one between him and you and I. Like,
Yeah,
and I appreciated that,
yeah.
that, we weren't there to, exploit that. We're just like, tell us about it. And what was that like?
Yeah. Here, come lay down on this couch, and we'll sit
Yeah,
here and we'll
yeah.
write
We
on our
weren't happy
notepad.
to,
Yeah.
and then hanging out with him downstairs in the lobby, like touching base with him. Like, I think before we left, I remember catching up with him downstairs and talking to him and a little bit, and that was really cool.
Here is a question from Sobek, and you know how we feel about his Batman films, but he goes to say Christopher Nolan's next movie is an adaptation of Homer's Odyssey. Initial thoughts? I mean, it's intriguing.
I love great mythology, and I'd be all about it. But it's Christopher Nolan. I think he's a pretentious douchebag about a lot of stuff. Insomnia is great. I would much rather other directors. Like, I know he does quality work. People love his movies. I just don't. I think it's um like I said, I just think his movies tend to be very pretentious, and
The Prestige was good.
Prestige was fine. Inception was a crock of shit.
I liked
I
Inception
didn't like it.
enough.
This is just fuck. And I got it. So it's not like, oh, I guess you didn't get. No, I got it. I just thought it was fucking stupid.
I haven't watched Interstellar or Dunkirk or Tenet or Oppenheimer.
Yeah, and
I checked out after Dark Knight Rises.
yeah, I was like, yeah, fuck you, Christopher Nolan. So I love Greek mythology. I wish we were getting more movies about Greek mythology and this, in the Odyssey. All we have really is the NBC made for TV movie with Armand Sante and Eric Roberts and Vanessa Williams, and she fucks him and it's great. And
So,
um,
initial shots here is it's set to star Matt Damon, uh,
oh, great.
Zendaya, and Anne Hathaway is going to be in it. So
Oh, that's
Tom Holland's going to be in it too. Well, we'll see, I guess.
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I would love if it was by any other director. Well, not any director, but I just feel like Christopher Nolan kind of like, yeah, I'd probably have to just ignore that one. So as much as I would much rather say, oh, that's awesome, like no, nah.
Yeah,
It's hard for me to get excited about a lot of movies anymore, just because I feel like
true.
it's as I said before, not to repeat ourselves, but I'd
Well,
love nothing more to be excited about going to the movies for something that's coming out in the next 6 months or a year or something like that. But I'm like, you know what? No, I'll just stick to what makes me happy right now. And it's nothing but the classics. So
my biggest thing too is just I wait until most stuff just hits the streaming services, and then I'll check it out well after the fact, after the hype's died off, after everyone's had to say what they needed to say, and I'm like, all right, you know what? I'll sit down. I'll absorb this and form my own thoughts on it. But
yeah, because I feel like a lot of the people, and I guess that's the whole purpose of like trying to spread this bullshit positive word of mouth to everybody, thinking, "Oh my God, well, Rotten Tomatoes says it's the greatest thing that's ever been made," and like, oh,
yeah.
I got to go see it because Rotten Tomatoes said so. And
I mean, I probably will try to go see Nosferatu.
I thought about that like last night because my mom was like thinking they want to go to the movies, but they don't know there's nothing good playing. I'd forgotten all about that. And I watched the trailer again. I'm like, I don't know, man. Like it'd be cool to see, but I'm like, this could be like one of those movies. Just like this is just not a whole lot happening, and it's just a lot of I don't know. It's intriguing, but I'm also just kind of apprehensive of just kind of like
I
maybe
mean, it's understandable.
it looks good, and I like the cast in it, but I'm like, could it be just one of those things like yeah, and nothing happens, or I don't
I
know.
don't know.
I haven't read any reviews because I honestly had forgot that it was coming out Christmas Day.
Well,
Not that I rely on reviews anymore because I'm like
yeah, but
everybody's so
I mean,
dog featured.
it's kind of a good way to sort of get a baseline on
Yeah,
stuff. I mean, it is. You mentioned old Rotten Bananas. It's sitting at 88% with 150 reviews. So it's it seems like the critics are digging it.
which it's nice to think of a horror movie about Dracula essentially,
Yeah,
being well received, but
and
and it's
Robert
not like a
Eggers
3 hour
directing
movie
it.
either.
Yeah, 2 hours and 12 minutes, and then
Yeah,
of course the director. I'm a big fan of what I've seen of his work.
yeah. I
Really
hated
enjoy.
the Northman, but the Witch was pretty good,
Hmm.
and that movie with Robert Pattinson and
Yeah, The
Willem Dafoe.
Lighthouse.
The
Yeah.
Lighthouse was the other one he had done. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it's really weird,
Mhm.
but it looks fucking fantastic, and it's got some I don't I guess unintentionally funny lines of dialogue in it, but I really like that a lot. I haven't watched in a while, but I just love the look of it. So knowing that he was going to do Nosferatu, I was like, all right, yeah, that makes sense. So hopefully, yeah, I'll try to. I say that, and then we'll get. And I'm like, you know, I don't feel like going to the movie
Well,
theater.
because I'm thinking like Christmas Day, like I might could go down. Like what, I'm really looking forward to having a lazy day and
Yeah, just
just
sitting at
doing
home.
yeah, and like
Yeah,
not dealing with idiots sitting in the bag with dog shit on their boot and they putting it
yeah,
up on the chair behind me, and
yeah.
that didn't
Or
happen to me. I
or
just
they're
like
just
bringing that
sitting and
up.
talk. I don't understand what's going on.
Yeah,
Is that Dracula? What
yeah.
is this?
And then they pull out their cell phone and start flashing it around and keep talking, and
Yeah.
we end up getting into a big fight with them in the parking lot. And
Well, you almost do. I just go sit in my car.
no, you went and antagonized him, then I had to deal with it.
Good
I
times.
instantly like, where's Nathan at? Oh, he went to go antagonize him in the parking lot.
Yeah. Oh man, that dude was pissed. Good times.
Yeah, and it's such a shitty movie and a shitty evening.
Yeah, man. Meg.
I can't believe they made a fucking sequel to
I
that.
mean, I can. Everything gets a sequel anymore.
I'm like, but I just didn't want people to think, oh, this is where it's at. We got to make these really shitty giant shark movies for the big screen. Like, it ain't just for sci-fi anymore.
Yeah.
Like, oh fuck, man. Like, we're never gonna get a good shark or animal versus man movie anymore when they think this horse shit is what people really want to see.
Yeah. I think that I mean obviously the formula for that's pretty simple. You make those movies very intimate with the man trying to survive against this thing, not this big spectacle bullshit. So, oh yeah, that
Uh,
see we're doing it again.
yeah, but it's like, but a story like that could easily work. I remember waiting decades for them to make the Meg movie. I remember hearing about that back in the '90s, like they were trying to get it made. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and reading the book finally, oh, this is gonna be a movie eventually. And when it finally got made, like, fuck, this is what we got.
Yep, Statham,
Waited damn
baby.
near 20 years for that movie to get made, and this is what we fucking got.
uh,
God.
you gonna pick up Seinfeld on 4K?
Oh, I'd love to. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I need to after cleaning out, I still need to get Cheers and Frasier on Blu-ray.
Mm,
I definitely want to get Seinfeld. I just definitely want to do a lot of upgrades and get rid of the old stuff, man, and just make more room for, figures and collectibles and stuff like that with what little room I got left, which isn't a whole hell of a lot anymore.
yeah, it's time.
Yeah,
Gotta get
even downgrading. I was even contemplating because Big Bad had some of their Ultimate Turtle figures like on sale, like really cheap. I'm like, oh, that'd be really cool. Like, pull the trigger on that guy because they're like so fucking cheap right now. But like Amazon had them about the same price to it, so it's not like it's like a do or die kind of thing. But it's
yeah,
like,
but it might be.
yeah, it just shows like, man, Super Seven stuff like it's. But what's weird is like the Thundercat figures I don't have, which are like the mutant army builders, like the
Uh-huh.
three reptilians. They're not on sale.
Of course not.
They're full price, but everyone else, damn near everyone else is on in the Thundercats wave is all like marked down, and Silverhawks are marked down. Turtles, GI Joe, Power Rangers, it's all marked down, man.
Doesn't it kind of make us look like assholes for paying full price? We could have just waited and got everything cheaper.
I guess just thinking like,
Fear of
I had
missing out.
fear of missing out, and I'm like, well, it's a property I treasure so much, like I need to have it now, and
Yeah,
just think
yeah,
that,
yeah. That's the thing. It's kind of like, yeah, here's my support
yeah,
for this
and
thing because you don't know if the line will last or
yeah,
whatever.
and you just kind of feel like, man, like all this stuff keeps getting, I don't really don't, it can't be doing that great. I just can't help but feel like, these lines that the Super Seven's doing, it's not like they're doing gangbusters in sales, and when
Yeah.
they're constantly having a lot of product left over, like GI Joe was canceled,
Hmm.
which would look terrible anyway.
Yeah.
But like, some of the turtle figures are like, I mean, they look great. All the turtle, except for like, oh god, like why are you guys doing all these damn variants already? Like,
Well,
fuck.
yeah, but there's also that whole thing with Playmates, and they had to change stuff too. So.
Yeah, it's fucking stupid. But I
Yeah, it's
just,
dumb.
I'm sure there's a lot of details that you know what they can't make public because they are purchasing the license from Playmates to make these figures, and
I know it's expensive, but are you gonna get the Mondo Ghostbusters?
they look great. But I'm like, part of me is kind of like, happy with this Diamond Select ones I got, a few years back. But like the Mondo ones, I mean, they're like, well, they're only like 6 inches, aren't they? They're not very big,
Yeah,
are they?
yeah.
For like a like.
The Sam Hain 2-pack with Peter's already sold out, so never mind.
Oh well, I saw them. I was like, that's awesome. But I'm like, I'm happy with the ones that you and I bought a while
Yeah,
back, and
the Diamond Select ones.
yeah, they look
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
They're still on display with my firehouse and all that too. So
Same.
I just really wish that Hasbro would do like a or whoever has the main rights, like a 6 inch line of the real Ghostbusters with all the various characters as opposed to like, why has it always got to be this super expensive shit? Like even if it looks good, it's like, damn it, man! Like
Well, because
if
the kids aren't
Hasbro,
going to buy it, it's the adults, and you can exploit them for their money because they will buy
you
it.
know what? I'm sure that's exactly what it is. But when you think about like how Hasbro is still making, even though Marvel Legends are damn near $30 a piece anymore,
Hmm.
but GI Joe Classified, the Star Wars Black Series, which I don't give a fuck about, but they're just examples of like, those are well done collectibles that are made for adults at a very considerable price, considering everyone else is like, it's not bad. Or Super
Yeah.
7, they want 60 fucking dollars for one figure.
Yep.
It's like, man, it's you can't do that. Or not everybody can.
No. I can't.
No, and I'm like, God, like all these like extra heads and wrists and extra this and that. Like, fuck, man, like
I
save all that fucking plastic.
and we didn't really yeah, we didn't talk about this at all earlier on, but figure wise, I haven't really been buying anything and I've
I
been
hadn't either.
texting. I have actually mostly like I unboxed all the Marvel Legends, all the GI Joe classifieds that I had that have just been sitting here on the floor. I got those unboxed. I still got it's over here the Thundercats and Silverhawk stuff right there. But I did get this tote because in behind here, like statue boxes, I'm gonna pack those away. So I'll get this nice and tidied up.
Yeah, I still got so much stuff that I just have not worked the shelves. Like they're out of the box, they're in the pose and accessories I want to display them with. I just have not made time because like when I'm home, I'm like, I just want to sit and watch. I want to sit and
Yeah.
read and not do anything because
Yep.
this stuff is going to require time to rearrange the whole shelf
And
to
time is
do it.
precious
Time
anymore.
is precious. Yeah, I'm like, yeah. So,
Yeah.
but I have pre-ordered, the Spider-Man uh uh um Marvel Legends that were announced not too long ago,
Yeah.
like
I did too.
Spider-Man Limited, Chameleon, Kane. I
Mhm.
pre-ordered those. I haven't seen the 70s Spider-Man TV show figure show up for pre-order.
I don't know if that one's like exclusive somewhere. It might
Okay,
be.
because I was like looking for it. It has Repulse and Big Ben. I'm like, where is it? Like, I'm
Yeah,
not.
I'm not sure if that's an exclusive. I would have to go back and double check, or if that's something that's a pre-order at a later date. But Johnny Cock says because the licensing Mondo isn't allowed to be in a lower price bracket due to Hasbro's non-direct competition clause. So
Mm. So they're gonna charge $100 fucking.
yeah, yeah,
That sounds like it's like so
yeah,
you couldn't charge 50, like, which is bad enough,
or
but like,
75,
but
70,
I'm gonna have to
60.
guarantee $100 a piece here, people.
Yeah,
Like, oh fuck, man.
yeah.
Whatever.
Well, I guess we will go ahead and we will wrap this up. I hope everyone enjoyed and appreciate all the new faces that we saw
Yes, thank you.
in the chat earlier. If you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe and ring the bell so you get notified when we go live. Because who knew we were going to go live on a Monday,
Yeah.
except for the people that rang the bell. So appreciate everyone that joined us tonight. And until next time, we'll see you in the future to talk about the past.
Johnny, where the hell are you from anyway? The Upper West Side?
And you said Johnny, so I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna feel like an idiot because I'm having a brain
Yeah.
fart.
Yeah, you will.
Give me a hint.
Let's see. Well, we have talked about this movie already.
This evening,
Yeah.
talked about it tonight.
Yeah.
God, I don't know. Just tell me. I don't want to put any effort into this tonight.
This is Burger Thing all over again. Like,
Yeah, that's fucking stupid.
yeah, that's just a moment in time. I wish we had captured, a picture
On
of
camera,
just
like just have a video of it.
yeah, of just how defeated you were in that moment of like, I don't give a fuck about anything that's going on in front of me, next to me. I don't even give a fuck about you, Tyler. Just Ghostbusters 2.
Oh,
When Venkman's talking to Janosch and he's asking like, Johnny, where the hell are you from anyway? The Upper West Side?
yeah.
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 Peter
That-
McNichol. He's great as Janosch. That's why
yeah.
I'm like, again, like people just hold down their pants and like, oh, I'm cooking up some turds all over Ghostbusters 2. I'll get him out to you tomorrow. Just like, I don't get this, people. You guys
I don't
praise the
either.
shit out of Terminator 2 for being the exact same fucking film as the first one. But Ghostbusters 2 does what the first film does. They're like, speaking shit, it's one of the worst films ever made in 1989.
Yeah,
It's
I know.
completely unwarranted.
I don't get it either, but someone say, "Oh, well, that's just your bias because you saw that one before you saw the first one." It's like, no, I like it. It's
Yeah, I thought
fun.
it was a great film. It scared the piss out of me as a kid in a good way. Like I
Yeah.
was like, I loved it, and they start to realize now people hate this movie. Like, why?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they did a lot of good stuff in it. Sure, is there stuff they could have expanded upon it? Sure, but I'm like, I don't see them doing anything that's like, oh my god, it was fucking terrible. I was 5 years old and I saw it in theater. And I thought, oh my god, what a piece of shit. And like,
The Bobby
Like,
Brown song
oh,
fucking kicks
I
ass.
love that. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
I like it better than Ray Parker's Ghostbusters. Like, I listen to that on a regular basis on our
I
own.
I would be inclined to agree. I know that sounds
Yeah,
blasphemous, but
but
I love New Jack Swing. I love that genre. I wish it would come back.
I just think Bobby Brown's song is like I find it more entertaining to listen to on like whether I'm working out or I'm driving or just I'm at work and I'll play some music. I'll put on our own because I'm like, you know what? That's our anthem here. On our own, man. Yeah, fuck yeah, man.
And I mean, like Bustin' makes me feel good and everything,
Oh
but
my
you
god,
can't
yeah.
go wrong with Bobby Brown.
No, it's just and there's something and plus those beautiful backup dancers he's got in the music video too, and all the cool cameos. Christopher
I'm
Reeve
probably
makes a
gonna listen.
cameo.
I'm gonna listen to the song tonight, probably because
Yeah, dude.
it the first 5 seconds that I hear that, I mean, it just takes me back to that time period.
Yeah.
I'm going to Hardee's and I'm getting the noisemakers. I'm getting the cups.
Yeah. And seeing the trailers on TV, like seeing the purple slime going over the museum and the
Yep.
toys that were coming out at the same time to coincide with the movie and
Hmm.
going to see it in theaters. And I'm like, I saw the first one before I saw the second one. So I was like, oh my God, like a sequel. Like, I can't wait to see this. And then go see Batman right when it comes out, afterwards too. But no, I think that's something we ought to plan to do in the near future. Is like we're
Yeah,
gonna
Ghostbusters
champion
too.
Ghostbusters too, and just say, you know what, if you don't
well,
like it, you're fucking stupid.
and we will have James strapped to the chair, Clockwork Orange style,
Yeah, yeah,
eyes
you
open.
know.
It's like you gotta no. We'll just it'll just be. We'll keep it. I don't want James to be there and be like, oh, fuck this. I was like, no, we don't need
So it's like, then you're not coming. You know, it's
that.
just like no. I just feel like it's even if it's just a discussion, but I still feel like we need to do a commentary
Yeah,
and
no,
just
yeah.
and just praise the hell out of like the Geiger meter. Like I want to play the Geiger meter, and just like all this cool shit. And like Vigo scared the piss out of me. And
Yeah,
Giannis is
Vigo
like
scared the shit out of me, and then the scene where Oscar
Giannis
gets
is the nanny.
yeah, ugh.
Oh my god, I was fucking
Terrified me as a
terrified.
kid.
Oh, I had no idea it was Giannis. I just thought it was
I
some
didn't
creepy old
either.
lady.
I didn't either. But just that stare,
Yeah,
and just
like
and even the shot from the distance. Ugh.
it's coming. And I remember I'm getting chills right now because I remember being a kid. And like I think it scared me more watching it on video than it did in the theater because I had no memory of it traumatizing me in the theaters. Like when it came to VHS and watching, like, oh my god, he's coming. He's gonna get little Oscar, like, leave me alone. And like, just stop it. And then when Vigo's face like comes into the painting, it's like,
Yeah.
listen to me. Like, oh my God, just fucking scary, man.
Yeah, it is. Oh
Yeah.
man.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
well, we will set
Yeah.
that for the future.
Yeah.
Hopefully you'll see the both of us on here talking, as we said, either another Christmas episode, cartoon, or a comic. We'll try to do something maybe at the end of the week. But if we don't, well, I mean that would be after the fact. So we will say here, much like we did last night. Hope everyone has a Merry Christmas or
Christmas.
Christmas.
I thought you know, like Beavis and Butthead's Christmas. They make fun of Mad About You. Honey, I'm mad about you, and I'm mad about Christmas.
I mean, we can chalk it up to that. But
Yeah.
happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, or whatever you may
Kwanzaa.
celebrate, or if you celebrate nothing, just try to enjoy the holiday for what it is. I don't know. I really don't know how to like send that off. Do the best you can. I think we all are trying to do as much ourselves.
I mean, like even if it's like you're not doing much, you got a whole lot. Savor those moments where it's just like what you're enjoying yourself, whether it's watching something, reading something, hanging out with a couple of friends or family. Just take time to enjoy something to yourself over the holidays, whether it's buying a bunch of shit with some gift cards or whatever.
Hell yeah. Blow all
just
your money.
blow it all on Amazon. Go buy some markdown Super 7 shit. Help those guys out. Get paid.
Yeah. All right, we'll catch you on the next one, guys. Thanks for watching.
Take care, guys. Merry Christmas.